Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea is maybe to get out of the triple leveraged all cash fund and possibly participate in this equity market. That was a great theme today for us, and it'll be a theme. My own pet theory is June 30 beckons. That's the end of the second quarter. That's the end of the first half for so many. And there's a lot of people going, okay, what do I own? What do I want to see on paper? June 30. There's a little bit of what we call window dressing out there. Mona Mahajan is at Edward Jones. They have a century heritage across America of helping people get over the fear of being in the market. Here is Mona Mahajan on what she observes of this great bull market.
We recently ran some numbers that show the average S&P 500 bull market lasts about 5.6 years. You're up about 192% in price appreciation. And keep in mind, even if you take out the last couple of really big ones, it's still 4.3 years and 125%. Where are we now? Well, we're about a year and a half since the lows in October 2022, and we're up about 50%. So could you argue that there's still time on your side? Is there still price appreciation ahead of us? History would certainly argue that. And so if you haven't gotten in yet, don't fear that you've missed the big run. History tells us that you could have a couple more years to go, and certainly the backdrop that we're seeing currently with not only the Fed potentially cutting rate, inflation, bumpy path, but maybe bumpy path lower. And we're also seeing, yes, perhaps a cooling in the economy and the consumer, but certainly not a recessionary environment. So a good backdrop, history's on our side.
Mona Mahajan, Edward Jones. Also with us today, Barry Ritholtz. He's been a little bit invisible because he's doing a new book, which is always timely. His book, Out of the Crisis, was really profound. Barry Ritholtz, of course, doing Masters in Business, and he is really looking at this market concentration story. He's stealing as much as he can from Sam Rowe. Sam Rowe has, I think it's called a Substack. I'm not even sure how he's doing it, but it's TK, the initials TKER. TKER, Sam Rowe. Really suggest a very cost-effective subscription to that with a compendium of charts from Wall Street. And Sam Rowe really had 6 strong charts this weekend, which Mr. Ritholtz brought up, suggesting here is how to find the courage to be in the equity market. Of course, we don't give opinion on this. That's not our job. But buy, hold, sell. Sam Rowe doing some great work, and Barry Ritholtz mentioning that. Thank you to Dana Telsey for being with us today as well. Definitive on American retail. We spent a lot of time on luxury. Louis Vuitton, LVMH, they're going to bulldoze their gorgeous skyscraper at 57th and 5th Avenue. I guess they're literally going to tear it down and build something new. And Dana was talking about how that's fresh for luxury. Her single best buy, for those looking for some way to spend money today, is TJX of Boston. Of course, the discount merchandisers who do, Dana says, such a good job. Our job is to get outside London, get outside Wall Street, get outside Hong Kong and Tokyo. You can do that with Ian Shepherdson. He's from Newcastle. And it was absolutely fascinating to talk to him about the British election. And he was piercing on Brexit, really profound, on saying Brexit's had a profound effect, a negative effect, on his United Kingdom. Here is Ian Shepherdson on the economics of the moment.
We've had such a long period where inflation was very low, and people got used to not thinking about the price of things because they didn't change very much for a decade. And so now this price level shock, I think, has really come and disorientated people in a way that will fade. I mean, prices went up a lot in the 1970s, but we got over it. It just took a long time. It took a very long time. I remember in the early 90s, people telling me that the inflation in the 70s and 80s still wasn't properly beaten. So that was a long time after the shock. So, I don't think that Biden's going to be rescued by people just saying, okay, inflation's down, we're not bothered about the price level shock. I think that's going to take a long time.
Ian Shepherdson of Pantheon. I can't say enough about his work. Very visible on LinkedIn as well. And I just think he has a twisted and different view, which frankly I don't understand. Being from Newcastle, I'm told it's rough. It's sort of like the Philadelphia Phillies baseball. It's a different game in Newcastle. But Ian Shepherdson, they're very, very good. We will go into the rest of the week in this bull market. Who knows? I'm assuming we close green in the screen today, which maybe is a dangerous assumption. But nevertheless, in this extraordinary market, we'll continue to give you voices and coverage. And just as importantly, not only a given voice, but the nuances and the change in their view. Program note I learned today, David Gura of The Big Take will give us debate coverage from Atlanta. Really looking forward to that, out to June 27th. We're on Android Play. I was putting the timeout chair, the Google timeout chair today, because I'm not talking about Android Play enough. Android Play and on Apple CarPlay, in your car, on your commute, safer and better. And on YouTube, we're absolutely thrilled. Search Bloomberg Podcasts and then subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts for what we do on YouTube with a vigorous live chat through the show. On Apple Podcasts, single best idea.